Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle something super useful in SQL, the case statement. This is the tool that lets you build actual decision-making and real-world logic right into your database queries. Okay, let's dive in. So just think about this for a second. We make these kinds of decisions all the time without even realizing it. If it's raining, I'll take an umbrella. If the light is green, I'll go. So the big question is, how do we translate that simple, human, if this, then that logic into something a database can actually understand? And the answer, the key to all of this, is the SQL case statement. It's the tool that was literally designed to handle this exact kind of conditional logic, making your queries a whole lot smarter and way more dynamic. All right, so let's get right into it and get to know SQL's core decision-making tool. So, what is it, really? Well, at its heart, the case statement is just SQL's way of writing if, then, else rules. If a certain thing is true, then do this, or else do something totally different. It's basically a way for you to ask your data a series of questions and get back custom answers based on the rules you set up. So let's look at probably its most common and powerful use, creating brand new columns based on conditions that we define. Imagine we have this simple little table of students and their test scores. Right now, it's just raw data. It tells us what the score is, but it doesn't really tell us what that score means. Now watch what happens when we throw a case statement in there. We're telling SQL, hey, look at the score column. Now, here's the really important part. It checks these conditions in order. First, when the score is 90 or more, it assigns an A, and then it stops. If that's not true, it just moves on to the next check. When it's 70 or more, assign a B. And for everything else that's left over, just assign a C. And boom, look at this result. It's brilliant. Our query didn't actually change the original table at all, but it created a new temporary column called grade completely on the fly. We've just instantly translated these raw numbers into meaningful grades. This new grade column we just made, it actually has a name. It's called a derived column. It's derived from the logic we just wrote. This is a huge concept, using SQL not just to fetch data, but to actively transform it and enrich it with new calculated info. But what happens if our rules have more layers? What if things get a little more complex? Well, that's where we can build even more powerful logic right into our queries. We can handle this by nesting our logic. Just think of it like a decision tree. The query first checks the main condition. If that condition happens to be true, it can then go deeper and enter a second, more specific check. This lets you create incredibly detailed and nuanced rules. And of course, the else is always there at the end as your safety net for anything that doesn't match. Now, what's really cool is seeing what this logic actually looks like in the code. See this here? Right after checking if the score is over 70, we've tucked a second, inner case statement right inside. This lets us split that 70 to 89 range into two distinct groups. Good for scores 80 and up, and average for scores from 70 to 79. This is what we call a nested case statement. Okay, so this isn't just some academic exercise. Let's look at how you can use this for your own projects and how major industries are literally relying on this every single day. You can apply this skill immediately. Think about a personal budget or maybe an expense tracker that you're keeping. With a pretty simple case statement, you can automatically categorize your expenses. This query creates a spending type column that instantly tells you if a purchase was high, medium, or low. It's so powerful because it turns what was just a boring list of numbers into actual insight about your spending habits. And what's really amazing is that this exact same logic scales way up to run critical functions in businesses all over the globe. Companies use case for everything. Seriously, they segment customers into value tiers, they classify financial transactions by risk, they categorize products for their inventory systems, and they grade employee performance. It's the engine behind so much data-driven decision-making. Here is a perfect example. A company can run this one query and automatically segment its entire customer base. This is what informs marketing strategies, customer service levels, so much more. This is exactly the kind of query running inside CRM systems and analytics dashboards every single day. All right, let's bring it all together, and then I'm going to give you a chance to put these new skills to the test. So the crucial points to remember are, the case statement is how you add that if, then, else logic to SQL. You use it to create derived columns, which are those new columns built from your logic. And for the really complex rules, you can use a nested case. Ready to try it out? Here's a straightforward one to get you started. You just need one when condition to separate students into two groups, pass or fail. Okay, now for a medium challenge. This is going to require two when conditions and an else to create three distinct categories, just like we did in some of our earlier examples. And for the expert challenge, give this a shot. Try building a nested case. This is going to require you to structure your logic pretty carefully to handle multiple layers of conditions and to get those four distinct performance levels.
And that's really the key takeaway here. The case statement elevates SQL from being just a simple data retrieval language into a dynamic, intelligent tool. It lets you embed the logic of the real world directly into your analysis, and that transforms raw data into truly powerful insights.